gentlemen, that's you.
No, this ain't Raymond.
It's Thursday. You know what that means. Actually, I'm not really sure what that means, but let's go with that. You're watching RPadTV, and today I have two excellent friends to talk about Harley Quinn Season 5. On your top left is the incredible Paul Semel. On the top right is the fantastic Carlos Torres. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. So I'm still recovering from my brother's family visited last week, and kids are very tiring.
And they always like to share things with you.
Yes, mostly germs, but
Yes.
I had an awesome time seeing them. And now my knees and back are recovering. I want to get updates on what's going on with you guys. Carlos, kick things off on the latest on revisiting the Mania.
Well, right now we're still trying to make our way through WrestleMania 36. We had a little setback, but that for sure will be happening with a show coming out on Sunday, April 6th. The main thing about that is because it's a 2-night show now.
Yes.
So we're trying to figure it out if we're going to be able to squeeze it into one episode or if we want to split it. And then it's more challenging because this is their first and only one without any fans in the audience.
Right. Yeah.
So we have to rewatch the matches because we have to pay attention. You just can't be like, oh, someone went like, whoa, and you're like, what happened? And rewind it back. So,
what was the cinematic match that year? Was that Cena and Wyatt?
Cena and Wyatt and parts of The Undertaker and
AJ
Styles.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that was a strange year. The COVID year, but it was interesting, though. They had to get pretty creative, and a lot of it did work. So if you want to check out Carlos's podcast, the link is in the YouTube and Facebook descriptions, and it's right there, streaming below. So pay attention to that. I'll let it play. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Never mind. Paul, what is the latest on paulsemel.com?
Just an absolute metric ton of stuff this week and next week. Lots of author stories, a new jazz interview review today. A couple cool things I thought I'd mention since I have props.
Yes.
This week I did an interview with author A.G. Rodriguez about his new novel, Space Brooms.
Okay.
Which is a humorous science fiction novel about a space janitor.
Huh.
And he says that it was influenced by Douglas Adams, Kurt Vonnegut, and Futurama.
Interesting.
So, that came out this week. And then next week, I have a zombie novel called Across an Ocean of Stars by Robert E. Hampson. And it's basically about a zombie outbreak at a resort in Hawaii. Now, it's part of a larger series, and the zombie apocalypse has taken over the whole world. But this is specifically about the zombies sort of taking a vacation in Hawaii. Although what's funny to me is, anytime you say zombies in Hawaii, I think of the Dead Island games.
Yeah.
The author had never heard of that. Also, if you look at the cover,
that
it's a little hard to see because it looks kind of like Eddie from the Iron Maiden albums.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, in the context of the interview, when the guy was talking about it, he said, blah, 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 let's call him Ed. And I'm like, wait a minute. You do realize by calling him Ed makes me think it's the guy from the Iron Maiden albums. And he's like, he didn't have an answer to that.
Wow.
A couple other quick things. Next week, Monday and possibly Tuesday, I have a preview of the new Quake. That's going to be Monday. And then either Monday or Tuesday, depending on how much I get to play it over the weekend, I'm going to do a review of Atomfall, which is a sort of survival. If you've ever played the Stalker games, they're basically like a survival, but it's like, in and around where the Chernobyl accident happened. Atomfall is actually set in what would have been the disaster zone of a British atomic power plant disaster had it gone a lot worse. Apparently, I didn't know this. In like the 50s, there was a massive fire at a atomic power plant in northern England, and it didn't irradiate the whole neighborhood, let's put it that way, but it did cause a lot of problems. And this game is basically set in, if it had gone way worse, so.
No, that explains some of the people from Newcastle that I've met. Clearly mutant. So who was a big fan of that game is our good friend and my ex-coworker, Bryn Williams. He was always big on Stalker. So that game always reminds me of him. So that is a nice reminder. Question about Space Broom. Is it broom or broom?
Yeah. Brooms.
So that
actually Space Brooms.
Yes.
Oh, it has the exclamation point there,
So the Space Janitor always reminds me of the game Planetfall. I don't know if you played that. It's an old Infocom text adventure. Right. So I wonder if the author was influenced by that, because he
didn't mention it, but I don't think he mentioned it, but he definitely was he's definitely a young guy and he's into video games, and he was the one who he names one of the space stations after something from Kurt Vonnegut.
Right.
So but then he was the one who brought Douglas Adams, and he was Futurama is my favorite TV show and whatnot. So yeah. It is always interesting to me when you get somebody who takes influence from video games. Sometimes it can be very sometimes I've had people be like, oh, the characters were absolutely influenced by so and so from Final Fantasy VI, and I'm like, oh, okay, kind of weird for a detective novel set in the 1940s, but okay, I'll take it.
For sure. So to learn more about those books and to check out Paul's Quake preview next week, go to paulsemel.com.
Doom.
Yeah,
Doom, the Dark Ages.
Same shit.
Ooh, scary. Yeah.
There's a direct link to Paul's website on the Facebook and YouTube descriptions. Or if you can remember it, paulsemel.com, not that hard. It is a fantastic site and well worth going to. So let's kick things off with a blue sky sized review of Harley Quinn season 5. Paul, kick us off.
Okay, hang on. I got to do my radio voice.
Yeah.
Though it was the weakest season of this adult comedic cartoon, season 5 of Harley Quinn was still entertaining.
Wow.
And now back to the news.
Did you write that and I just did not screenshot it?
No, I didn't put that up.
Okay. Carlos did write his. What do you got, Carlos?
Harley Quinn. Sorry, I lost my page. I wasn't reading your screen. Season was good, but it was not the best to date. And agreeing with Paul, it was refreshing to get out of Gotham and seeing Metropolis. Adding Aisha Tyler, as Lena Luthor was great. Also seeing a different side to Brainiac was a good twist. Let's hope they get a season 6, which it's already been confirmed that they did, and see if they can get back on track.
And I wrote, really enjoyed Harley Quinn season 5. The Metropolis setting was a nice change. Aisha Tyler, Paul's personal friend, was fantastic. And Frankette cursing cracked me up every time. However, I'm anxious for the gang to head back to Gotham. Hopefully they bring Kite Man back into the mix. Hell yeah. So, I mean, the biggest change with Harley Quinn season 5 was Metropolis. And, Harley and Ivy are ostensibly Batman villains. So we're used to seeing them in dark and gritty settings. So moving them to the pristine version of Metropolis was a nice change. Paul, what did you think of the setting of Metropolis?
I thought it was an interesting idea when they did it. It didn't sort of pan out as much as I would have hoped. I sort of was hoping there was going to be more interaction with Superman, and actually really hoping that Supergirl was going to be in there, and they would end up sort of palling around with her or doing stuff with her, and maybe even Crypto. I mean, that would have been fun to see, Crypto hang out with them and whatnot. Yeah, but it I don't know. For me, the strength of this show are the characters and the people who voice them.
Yeah.
And and I've had this complaint about, I think, last season and to a lesser extent this season before. Like, I love Ron Funches as King Shark, and whenever it's kind of like that old joke from The Simpsons about Poochie. It's like, whenever King Shark isn't on screen, everybody should say, "Where's King Shark?" And like, I kind of miss him, even though he turned up a little bit. Like, having him and Clayface and Bane interacting with Harley and Ivy, that to me is the strength of the show. And you didn't get that as much this time.
Right. And there are also characters that were, who's the guy that's stuck in the TV and played by George Costanza.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Cy. Yeah.
Yeah. And Dr. Psycho. I mean, I could do it. I mean, losing Dr. Psycho is not the worst thing in the world, but
no, but it adds a different layer. So I do see what you mean. There is one character I definitely wanted to see more of, but we'll talk about that later. Carlos, what did you think of the Metropolis setting?
Well, when we got to the end of season 4, I was thinking, like, I'm not sure exactly where they could take this to.
Right.
And then, because I felt like they had already got to the bottom of the barrel as far as them being in Gotham. So when they moved it to Metropolis, I was thinking, okay, it's something different, especially since they made the comparison on the show. Gotham is dark and gritty and dirty, and then Metropolis is bright, shiny, and brand new. So I had hope, but it seemed to me like they felt like this was only going to be one season in Metropolis, and that was it. And I felt like they just put too much in this one season. Like, we could have probably drawn out a little bit more of the Floronic Man, a little bit more. They probably could have drawn out Brainiac a little bit more, and then they probably could have weaved in Lena a little bit more to be more menacing.
Right, but I think that was kind of intentional at the time because they did not have a 6th season guaranteed yet.
Yeah,
and
it
ended nicely. Like, the finale worked both as a season and, if need be, a series finale. So I kind of see why they were going with that. I like the Metropolis setting a little bit more than you guys. I liked it for one season. I'm good with that. Yeah. I mean, we've had 4 seasons in Gotham. We had a season of Kite Man, hell yeah, in Gotham. So this was a nice interlude. That was cool to see, but I'm anxious for them to get back to where they belong. Now, Carlos mentioned Floronic Man, and yeah, there are kind of like 3 bosses, if we're going with the video game analogies with this. Floronic Man was the mid-boss, and I like this character in the comics a lot, partially because the name is funny. Like, I always wanted like Guy Gardner to call him like Floron or something, like as if he were a moron. But it ties into Ivy's powers in the DC universe. It ties into the bigger concept of the green. From Swamp Thing, you have the green, the red, and the rot. And yeah, there's a bunch of like plant-based, not like Beyond Burgers, but plant-based characters in DC, like Ivy and Floron here. So he was cool. Also visually, I thought he's pretty interesting. But I also felt, like Carlos said, that they could have done more with him. What do you think, Paul?
I totally agree. That's what whenever you send me like the whole topics that we're going to talk about, I always write things down just to have them in front of me. And the thing that I wrote about the Floronic Man was I thought he would be around longer. Like, right. It seemed very like truncated. Like, there seemed to, maybe need like 1 or 2 more episodes where you actually got to see like what he could do and why before they kind of killed him off. Yeah. It does sort of seem like this season could have used like 1 or 2 more episodes to it to flesh things out and whatnot. But so I think he was interesting, but it felt very truncated.
I was kind of disappointed because there's so much cursing in the show that was disappointed that Ivy didn't call him a fucking Floron or something. I just think that would have worked. Carlos, your thoughts on Floronic Man?
Yeah, same thoughts as Paul. Like you mentioned, is we get that tease at the end of the second season, at the end of the second episode, after Ivy does the same thing that he did to her in the
Right.
flashback. And so we're thinking maybe if it's not the next episode, episode 3, maybe it'll be one of those like slow burns, little clues dropping that he's still alive, and especially when Ivy meditates and goes into the green.
Right.
Unquote. So for it to just like happen the next episode and then they just take care of him right away, it I guess it helps the character of Poison Ivy get over that traumatic experience that she had with her ex-lover and mentor. But it also seems like, what was the point of making him a threat if he wasn't really that much of a threat?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. But that's why he's the mid boss. The person we thought was going to be the big boss, but actually wasn't, was Brainiac. And I'm such a big fan of this character from the comics. The villain Brainiac, but also the superhero Brainiac from Legion of Superheroes. I love the whole Kaluan culture. And as your name says, the 13th level intellect. I love all that stuff. He's played by the excellent Stephen Fry in this. For some reason, there's no good reason. I always get Stephen Fry and Stephen Root mixed up. Yeah. They're very different actors. And the other thing that reminds me of Stephen Fry is he was in that V movie. And it reminds me, right? It reminds me of the Between Two Ferns episode where he interviews what's her face, Padme. And
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. He's like, you shaved your head for V for Vendetta. Did you also shave your V for vagina? Such a great question. That's like hard-hitting journalism. But I love this character. I love he was played in the show because it is an overly serious and intellectual character, but they managed to give him the Harley Quinn goofiness. Carlos, tell me what you thought of this portrayal of Brainiac and whether or not you had feelings about him going into the show.
Mostly the feelings that we have is more with the comics. You know, he's more of a antagonist. Well, he's an antagonist here, but it's done for different reasons.
Right.
And it's more because of the tragic backstory that he ends up having, where he pretty much loses his family because he goes off on a mission, and when he comes back, they are wiped out by we don't know what. So he lost his family, and he's trying to find a reason to keep living. So then he finds out that, you know, what if he managed to fix that 1% and make everything perfect? Not only would his family still be alive, but maybe the world or the universe would be a better place. And then he makes that his mission until he powers down to go out and make everything perfect and bottle it up.
I did like that one episode where they showed his family life and also builds up his delusion with Coco the monkey, which I thought was pretty funny. Paul, what did you think about Brainiac in this season of Harley Quinn?
Well, for me, Stephen Fry is excellent as a voice actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so good when he was the voice of the guide in the Hitchhiker's Guide movie, and he's done a lot of other really cool stuff. And this was an interesting take on the character, but I kind of didn't like that one whole episode that was just about him. Like,
I enjoyed
really kind of bored with that one. Like, they kept telling like the same joke over and over again, and I was like, and it took me to like the third or fourth time. I go, oh, the joke is that they're telling the same joke over and okay, I get it now. Like, that episode really dragged for me, but
interesting.
I liked where they ended up going with the character at the end. You know, spoiler alert. Yeah. You know, where he realizes that perfection is not perfect, and that, you know,
right,
it's the flaws that make life interesting, and he has that whole turnaround.
Well, What is it? What
You
did Harley's mom say? The mess is what's beautiful, or something like that.
Yeah, something, the mess is the best, or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting sort of change up for him, but and also a believable one. Like, it wasn't like an out of left field, like, oh, now Brainiac is good,
Right.
because Harley got a monkey. You know what I mean? Or something silly like that. Although silly is this show's bread and butter. So
Yes. Now, Paul, you might be biased here because she is voiced by your personal friend Aisha Tyler. What did you think of Lena Luthor in this show?
I was going to say something terrible, and I probably should. I mean, first of all, like you said, I know her. I've known her for a very long time. So anytime I see her getting work, I'm always very happy for her, especially because I know she loves doing voice work, and she's undoubtedly a fan of the show. She's again also someone who's really good at voice acting. If you've ever watched her as Lana on Archer, she's excellent in that, and she's done lots of other things, more serious roles and whatnot. So yeah, it was funny because at first I was like, that is her? Yeah. Was she on this before? Oh wait, I had to look, and so I was like, personally speaking, I was excited, but professionally speaking, she did a really good. She does, look, she knows how to do voice acting, and she was really good in this role, and it was a nice meaty role for her to sort of dig into. There was, there were times that she had to be nice, and times where she had to be mean, and times where she had to get pissed at Lex, and so yeah. So yeah, you're right. I am biased, but she also was deserving of whatever praise she's about to get from you guys.
Yeah, I thought she was fantastic, and it was a challenging role because you have two very, very strong female voice actors to contend with. It is a collaborative process, but it would be so easy to get overshadowed by both Kaylee or Lake in this, and Aisha more than held her own.
Well, you got to remember when she was on Archer, she was there with H. John Benjamin, who's the Mac Daddy, and all
Right.
these other really strong people. So I think for Aisha, it actually just pushes her to, she's not someone who's going to get overwhelmed by Stephen Fry and Lake Bell and Kaylee Cuoco. She's someone who will, it takes strength from that. So
right. But that is a talent in itself also. I mean,
yeah,
it's one thing to make your performance stand out, but it's also really easy to overdo it in that situation where, you have these two other very strong female voice talents, and overcompensating would be the easiest thing to do. But that's also a typical male reaction, overcompensation. So that could be that could be a thing too. But Carlos, what did you think of the performance of Paul's close personal friend Aisha Tyler in the show?
I wish that the role that she had would expand a little bit more. I didn't like that. I want her more as part of the show, and didn't feel like we needed that sibling rivalry with Lex. I kind of like that if maybe they would have taken Lex off and just had him disappear somewhere, and maybe he comes back to kind of help save the Metropolis, but just having that crutch of sibling rivalry, yeah, it fits with the comedic tone of the show and how everyone has that one little crutch, and it may not seem like it's a big thing, but it could be just the littlest thing. But I felt like the way they had been building her up, because you could see that she's already been laying down how to take the world, the battling thing and everything away from Brainiac from the first episode, because she's in the first episode, she's endearing and making friends with Harley and Poison Ivy, and they showed you the gauge Metropolis is at 90+%, and then when she invites Harley and Poison Ivy, it starts dropping.
Yeah.
And so that's against everything that Brainiac wanted to do, and she just keeps telling Brainiac, no, it's fine, they're gonna add on to it, it's gonna make this Metropolis great and things like that. So I just wish we were able to get more of her as being like the main center. I mean, more seeing her being more manipulative and not having that crutch. But
For me, it was a good amount of her. It was just right. Um, I don't know how it would have been if there was more Lena. It could be like an ingredient that is really easy to overdo, like ginger and oyster sauce come to mind immediately.
I could see that.
But I love that the central conceit of her conflict with Lex is that Lex didn't let me play with his train. So now all of a sudden she's taking over Brainiac shit and bottling up Metropolis because of that. But I love that whole conceit of it. That I think that's hilarious. But yeah, I do hope, I wonder if we'll see more of that character in the future, not on a regular basis, but it would be a shame to let her go away completely because I think she's fantastic. Now, before we move on, I did want to take a quick break to let you guys know that RPadTV is partnering with Proton. Proton makes some of the best security products that you can use to protect your privacy, secure your browsing, and if you use streaming services, you can spoof your location to change your actual location, make your streaming service think you're in another country so you could access different types of content. Best of all, RPadTV users can get up to 64% off an annual Proton subscription by using the link go.getproton.me/sh10j. There is a direct link in the Facebook and YouTube subscriptions. These are really excellent products. I am a paid Proton subscriber myself of two of their products, Proton Mail and Proton VPN. I think they're some of the best security products out there. Highly recommend them. And if you want to give it a shot, it would really help the website out. Now, back to our show. Not that I went anywhere, but I'm still here. So as Paula said earlier, part of what makes this show so fun is the supporting characters. We have wonderful moments with goofy versions of King Shark, Bane, Clayface, and more. My personal favorite is Clayface because he's just such a silly and ridiculous character that Alan Tudyk does such a great job of making him ridiculous. I loved what he did in this season. Taking over Perry White's identity was funny, but it's something we saw him do before where he killed and impersonated James Gunn. Was that last season or 2 seasons ago?
It's like a couple seasons ago. Yeah. It's like second or third.
But that was not enough because he did that gag already. So we had a musical with Clayface, which told Brainiac's story. And I love how they used the Clayface's musical. It was almost like a Spaceballs thing. It's like, wait, what happens next? Watch the musical. Let's go back to that scene and find out. So for me, I mean, Clayface, look at him in this costume. Like it's so stupid, but it's so funny. Like I love this character so much. So for me, he was my favorite supporting character. Carlos, who stood out for you in the supporting cast?
Bane,
yeah.
Obviously for me, because I as much as I do like Clayface, I think I'm more of a Bane fan than you or probably Paul is. But he had a good little like side story going on there with his wife or his girlfriend, fiance Betty, and then so taking care of Goldilocks, and then taking him to the Dutch immersion school. And then him getting mad because they gave her 2 weeks detention, and he's like, nobody disciplines Goldilocks but me.
Yes.
So that was a fun little bit. And then also Sean.
Goldilocks, was that from
that's from Kite Man.
Kite Man, yeah, from the Queen of Fables when they went in the book. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they brought her over along with I think she's a dominatrix, his fiance. Yeah, so they brought her over, and then Sean is someone that has a very hyperactive kid who likes to run around, jump around. He doesn't like to eat things, and like hasn't attempted to do that, but I understand. And Sean was very fun, and he's always running away, and he's always wanting to go with his cool aunts, and just seeing like instead of Harley and Poison Ivy being mad at him for continuing to butt into their lives, they just like, oh, he called us the cool ants. Yeah, come over here, we'll take care of you. So those two, I think, were my little bit of highlights for as side cast, the side characters here.
How about for you, Paul? Who is your favorite in the supporting cast?
The first one I think would be I really liked Harley's mom, Sharon.
Yes,
Who was voiced by Susie Essman from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I did not realize it was her at first because of the lack of cursing. Like I'm used to her speaking like a filthy sailor. So,
right. Yeah. I thought she was really fun. It took me a beat, but I also really liked I can't remember. I went to go look her name up. The girl baby plant that was
Frankette.
Frankette. Thank you. And I want to look up who the voice actor was for that because they were really good.
It was someone similar. Very not similar. It was someone. I had the name.
Thank God for Google.
Yeah. In this case, IMDb.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankette is played by. Oh, the line that Sharon said is "the mess is the point."
The mess is the point.
Okay.
Because that is also the name of the final episode. Frankette is played by Maria Bamford.
Yeah, Maria Bamford. There you go.
Okay, yeah. She was also really, really good as well. Although I'm gonna miss Frank, but
well, yeah. I mean, JB Smoove is he's hilarious. I love him in Curb. I love him as Frank in this. And is he done with this? I would hate to see him go. I do think.
I mean, I would think so because he's dead, but
I was telling Raymond that I would love that as Frankette grows up, that she ends up sounding like JB Smoove.
Why can't he do an effeminate voice and voice her? Like, I love that idea.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It would have been fun if they had JB Smoove and Susie Essman do something funny.
Yes.
Together. I don't know what.
I mean, there's still a chance that it could happen in season 6 because now Sharon is living with the ladies now.
Right.
Yeah. If Susie or Sharon said Lex fucking Luthor, like she would say Larry fucking David, that would be fantastic. But I totally did not realize that was Susie Essman at first until I saw it in the credits. I'm like, whoa. Cool. So that's what she sounds like when she's not like swearing a mile a minute. But yeah, I enjoyed that character as well and can't wait for more. Now, was there anything missing? You kind of alluded to this before. Were there any specific characters or character archetypes that you felt were missing from the mix in season 5? Paul, kick this one off.
Well, like I said, Frank, King Shark, always want more King Shark, always want more Run Funches.
Yeah.
I was not as enamored of the kid as you guys were. I would have liked the dad instead, to come around more, to be involved more, but I got, it's from a story perspective. I don't know how it would have worked, but I just do like that character and like him in it. And he's always, it's always funny to me because he's such a happy-go-lucky guy and he's, smiling. And then every once in a while, he just turns on a dime and just like starts yelling because he's like super pissed. And it's just the funniest fucking thing in the world. So I would like, more King Shark.
Yeah.
And Paul, Carlos, how about you?
I agree. I mean, we did get the little bits and pieces of Ron Funches here and there, but just like one more episode where he's in there a little bit more. Like we got him more towards the end when they're trapped in the bottle, and they're trying to get Bane to write everything like when they're trying to tell him to write it the right way, so Brainiac will let him out. And they're like, why do you keep doing it the wrong way? But yeah, I think from that and maybe who else? I can't think of anyone else that I would probably want to see unless they would have thrown that would have been too much throwing like Nora throwing herself at somebody again over there.
Right.
I think that probably would have been too much. But yeah, I think maybe if they would have added more King Shark, I think that probably would have been good for me.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of the King Shark character, and even a bigger fan of Ron Funches the person. But for me, the character that was missing, or the character type, I really missed having Kite Man, or a character like Kite Man, where
The punching bag.
well, not a punching bag, but he's still a bad guy, but he's kind of pure, a little bit naive, in over his head. But he's such a good contrast to all the other characters who, while we love them, they are definitely bad people. They do a lot of killing and law breaking and robbing, and have no second thoughts about it. But I miss that. It's almost like an innocent villain, I guess, of Kite Man. And I know he had his own show that wasn't particularly well received, although I enjoyed a lot of it. But I missed having Kite Man in the mix, and I hope he comes back in season 6, because he's probably not getting his own season 2 of his own show.
I thought I seen that got
Did it?
put for season 2. Yeah.
Well, I'm very pleased about that. Let us hope that is true. I will look for that. Did you have a favorite episode or moment in season 5, Carlos?
My favorite episodes that I have are unfortunately for Paul, the Brainiac solo episode 4 was one, and then episode 6 was another one for me. That's the one where they have the musical.
Yes,
and they're trying to explain what to people what Brainiac is doing, and people are just loving the show, and then Lena's just mad because she's like, everyone's loving and feeling sorry for Brainiac because he's over there talking to the skeleton of his monkey, and he's supposed to be taking over the world and putting you guys in a bottle. Why would you? It reminds me of that whole Will Ferrell and Zoolander. He's like, feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
right.
That, and my other favorite moment for this is when Poison Ivy's breaking into Lena's apartment, and the security that she has is a Gale. It's like an old lady. It's a geriatric android.
Right.
Something lady. So it's just distracting her from actually breaking in. But I also like the lady who's voicing it, Paula Pell. And I've just come to know more about her from before. I actually watched a few episodes of that show that they had on Peacock, Girls 5 Eva.
Huh.
She's in that one, so that's I like her comedic timing and like her delivery. So yeah, that's all I got.
I love this screen from the musical where Frank is playing the corpse of Coco, so he's wearing a skeleton costume over his.
Yeah, because he ate Andy Serkis.
Yes, I think that was hilarious. Paul, how about your favorite moments or episodes from season 5?
I weirdly liked the genuine and romantic ones between Harley and Ivy. Like, there's a couple times, I think more than like any other season, there's a couple times when you realize that this is not just a fling. It's not just them, fucking around. That there is a genuine love and appreciation for each other there.
Yeah.
And then they make a joke about it where they say something to the effect of like, we can't break up because the internet would kill us or something like that. And I was like,
that was fantastic.
A really just funny meta moment that was one of those moments where I just lost my shit for like a minute.
I'm with Carlos in that I really enjoyed a Clayface's musical. I'm a musical theater fan in general, so of course that got to me. But the other thing was just hearing every time Frankette said "fuck you," I just thought it was the voice and the intonation. It was cute and hilarious and dirty all at the same time, having this little baby curse out its mom. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they develop Frankette in the future, and who does the voice of an older Frankette. Well, I really hope it's still JB Smoove in the future. I think that would be an interesting take that I would like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the themes of season 5 was being stuck in a rut. Harley wanted to move to Metropolis because she felt like her relationship with Ivy was kind of stalled out. Some people felt that way about the show, that it needed a little change, so hence the move to Metropolis. Did that concept work for you, and did it refresh the show for you, Paul?
No, but it might. And what I mean by that is, let's see what happens next season, if there is a next season. I don't know if that's been has that been confirmed?
Yeah, it was
okay, because I know there was an interview earlier this week where one of the producers was saying, we hope there's another season. We have a good idea for it. So I didn't know that it had been confirmed. So I think it could rejuvenate the series. I just don't know that it will.
It's all about the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of there was this period during Archer, like season 7, like 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9 maybe, where he was in a coma, and every season he was imagining himself in a completely different world. Like there was one where it was like a sort of like a Casablanca kind of world, and then there was another one that was like a science fiction kind of world, and so on. And those seasons, like they were good, but they weren't great. But then when they came back, the show was rejuvenated, and so that's what I'm sort of hoping for. Like this season didn't rejuvenate things, but I could see where it might have done that for future seasons. We'll see.
How about for you, Carlos? Did this shake things up enough for you?
I don't I'm pretty much gonna echo the same thing Paul said. It's like it did shake up some things, but I think it's more about finding out for them like what worked and what didn't work, and just trying to see and just work with that and just try to develop more of a story around those things. You know, we have the things that we say didn't work for us. Like we love seeing them in Metropolis, but you know, I guess kind of missed them being back in Gotham as much as we're like, well, we're tired of Gotham and things like that. I guess it's, you know, they're in a little zone. You never want to leave your comfort zone. They try to do it, and maybe, you know, now they learn what works and what doesn't, and they can go forward, and maybe if a couple of more seasons after 6 after that, and that's about it.
See, I agree with that, and which is why the Metropolis setting worked for me. It's like any long-term relationship, sometimes you need to mix things up. So for them, it's whether it's bringing in a third person in bed or trying anal. No,
I like on a break.
Yes.
We were on a break.
No, I don't like the "we were on a break" thing, like Friends, but that's too passive. I like that they actively tried to do something with this relationship. So, but I also agree with Paul. It, like, a lot depends on the follow-up. So Let's see how it works in season 6. Although I'm not certain it was the worst season, like Paul said in the intro. I enjoyed it for the most part. It wasn't my favorite season by any means, but it didn't stand out to me as the worst. Now, Paul, you and I had this conversation, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or so. We were talking about how long the series has left, and you brought up things like The Simpsons and The Family Guy lasting for decades if the creators and actors wanted to. How many more seasons of Harley Quinn do you think there will be? And this is purely speculative, so no wrong or right answer here.
I don't know. I don't really see this going the way The Simpsons or Family Guy. Like, I don't think we're going to be doing another one of these videos in 20 years.
Right.
You know, I don't know whether I'll be here in 20 years. We'll see. I could see them doing, but you know what I mean? Like, I could see them, like, if they make it to 10, kind of going, you know what, that's good.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The only thing that I hope is that they get told when they're going to have a thing and be able to do something with it, whether it is a proper ending of the series or maybe they do a movie, which is like one of my all-time favorite cartoons is the Venture Brothers.
Right.
And they just got cut off at one point. But then there was such an outcry from the fans that Cartoon Network said, okay, look, let's do like one like long episode. And then that ended up turning into a movie, which actually did serve as a really good end to the show. It didn't answer all the questions. They didn't want to answer all the questions, but it made for like a nice end cap. And that's, to me, like, that's like something I would definitely want from the show. Like, it doesn't have to go on forever, but I do want them to know when it's going to end or to have some kind of way of wrapping things up.
That would be awesome. I mean, most shows don't get that. So I really hope they do. Going out on your own terms, or at least knowing that this is the end, gives them something to plan for. So I do hope that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that like every show needs that. Like I've been watching a lot of that show SWAT that's on CBS now, which is like the remake of the old show.
Oh, the 70s one, and then
yeah, and I like that show, but like I don't really know that they need to. I mean, how do you wrap that show up? Like it's not like SWAT's gonna end because everybody, you know what I mean? Like
what if they all try to defuse a bomb one day or to take down terrorists?
But that's the thing. You're gonna kill everybody off. Like, that'd be like a terrible way to end that show. You know, I mean, I guess
pretend it's the dream.
Yeah, that's stupid too. I mean, I guess it kind of has to end with like Hondo like retiring, but like, you know, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like that. It's like Law and Order. Like, Law and Order doesn't need to have like a series finale necessarily.
Right. But sometimes season or series finales, like Quantum Leap, that was one of the saddest endings I've ever seen. I'm like, so he just keeps leaping like an asshole forever. That sucks.
Oh, don't remind me, because they canceled Quantum Leap reboot, and I heard that they were gonna work on bringing Sam Beckett back into that, like whatever they were working on. With the current, and now that stopped too, and that one never got.
Now he's leaping like an asshole forever.
Yeah, that guy is also leaping like an asshole forever.
Well, when they do the second reboot,
yeah,
you know,
tangent here, but I posted something about Nick Frost possibly being cast as Hagrid for the Harry Potter reboot, and some of my friends are really against this reboot. Like, they have very strong feelings about it. I'm like, I don't know. To me, nothing is precious. Things will get rebooted because the bean counters want it to, but I love the original movies for the most part.
What is their complaint? Is it that they're rebooting this thing so soon? Is it they're rebooting it at all? Is it all the things that J.K. Rowling has said? Is it all of those things?
I think part of it is that they feel it doesn't need a reboot, and part of it is the J.K. Rowling stuff.
Oh, okay.
But
that makes sense.
In this particular case, Robbie Coltrane was so perfect as Hagrid, and I love Nick Frost. I think he's hilarious, but I also think I can't see him as Hagrid yet. Let's see.
Right. It does seem a little soon, though. And that's like with this thing that I don't like about what's going on with the sort of reboot thing that happens is like the minute something ends, somebody goes, well, when's the reboot? When's it coming back? It's like, it just died a week ago. Let it, relax. Right. I want to go play, I mean, because one of the things that I really like is how people now will go back to things. Like, I loved it when they brought back Leia and Luke and Han Solo and Chewie for the Star Wars movies, like years later, like, and to me, that was a lot more interesting than if they had been like, okay, so we're rebooting Star Wars and we're going to do episode 7 starting now. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was cooler, like having that, like, time, like getting to see these characters like years later.
But what is the good what is the set amount of time when it's okay? I don't
Yeah, that was
know
gonna be
what
my
that is.
question because like the Sorcerer's Stone came out like in what 2001, 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now
Yeah.
we're like 20 years plus. So
How old are those kids now? Are they in their 40s? Not
yeah, some of them
are
should be in
they?
their 40s. Isn't Draco like in like his close
Oh,
to
well,
his 50s?
he looked at he always looked like garbage. I don't think I think Dan Radcliffe is still in his 30s. I don't think he's 40 yet. Let's see what Google says.
Well, like the twins should be, not the
Well,
older.
yeah, I mean
Yeah, the
they're
Weasley twins.
older.
Yeah, but
So Dan Radcliffe is 35. Um, that seems correct to me.
mhm.
What is Malfoy's real name again? I forget.
Oh man, I forgot to just IMDb it.
Yeah, but
It's
he
Englishy.
he looked old in the
Yeah,
Flash, so
he did.
he was getting haggard then. Tom Felton.
Tom Felton. Yeah, there you go.
I think there's also something to be said for not rebooting something that worked really, really well.
Right.
You
He's only
know,
37.
37. Okay,
yeah.
wow.
Johan is looking forward to the Harry Potter reboot. I'm curious about it. I'm not
Yeah,
against it.
and plus it's gonna be a series, right? They're not movies.
Yeah. It's a series. Yeah. I'm waiting for Fox News to get mad at African Severus Snape. That'll be a fun one. Or DEI Snape. Do we call
Yeah.
him that now?
Yeah.
Zach Morris saying about reboots, it depends on the movie. As long as they never touch Back to the Future.
oh, they will.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for Robert Zemeckis to not longer be
I
here.
mean, for some of these executives, nothing is precious. So I don't expect them to treat anything as such. That was a good tangent. So, Carlos, I don't think you got to answer this question. How many more seasons of Harley Quinn do you think there will be?
I think depends how 6 goes. If they don't like have anything that's better than this season, then I think maybe they just like, hey, you guys had great scores up to this season. How about you guys just figure out how you're gonna wrap it up and just wrap it up at 7? But I think it just all depends. Like, you can never discount like seeing these guys get into their shenanigans, and especially when they're always there to help each other. So it's always like one of those things where you want to see them all go on their own adventure, but it's always the best when they come together and help each other out, as we saw like in the last episode of the season.
Right.
It took them all to take down Lena and Lex together. But yeah, I think it just all depends, like if we said, how season 6 goes, because I think HBO, Warner's, Discovery would owe it to that crew to give them, at least if season 6 doesn't go good, at least give them one more, and then just like figure out how you're gonna wrap it up and how you want to say your goodbyes and go from there. But
I don't even think they need to give them a whole season. I think they could literally just say like, okay, you know what, we're gonna end this. How do you want to end it? Do you want to end it on with like a special episode like they did the Valentine's one? Do you want to do like a movie, by which I mean like a movie that would air like, streaming, not go to theaters and whatnot, do some kind of something bigger and cooler and have it be like a goodbye kind of thing? Or I don't think you need to necessarily, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they come up with an idea for a whole season. But that's the nice thing about the streaming, landscape, is you could do like a 1 episode goodbye, like they did with the thing. You know what I mean? It's not like in the old days where it's like, no, we need like a full season of the show, 24 episodes. It's going to run all year.
Yeah, because we stole that advertising already. That's not how it works anymore. So
so they could do, I'm sure they've made enough that they could say to them, you know what, we want to do like an hour and a half long movie, and we want it to be kind of big and this and that, and Warner Brothers would go, sure. Can we put it out on Blu-ray and sell it? Absolutely.
I mean, I'm of two minds about it. I mean, I think, as you guys said, this is very much a character and actor driven show. So as long as the actors are cool with it, it's not an expensive show to make. The actors like doing voice work because it's easy. They just go to a booth, record some lines. It's relatively easy work. On the other hand, Zaslav sucks. I don't know what that guy will do. I will never get over him canceling the Batgirl movie for tax reasons. But yeah, I just think he sucks in general. He's going to kill me now, isn't he? No.
Yeah, but we have James Gunn in our corner. And at the moment, James Gunn carries a lot of weight. I mean, that could go...
Well, Clayface killed him. I saw it.
Right. But, that could be reversed if the Superman movie bombs. But, like, at least for the moment, James Gunn could say to him, no, we need to do this properly. And
right.
So
I hope so.
But, again, if the Superman movie is a disaster...
I have high hopes. Early rumors of test screenings have been very positive. So,
you've seen those? I haven't seen anything yet.
There've been a few articles about the test screenings that were for staff and friends and family, and so far it's good. But let's see. Who knows? Let us get out on this note on what you guys want to see next from Harley, Ivy, and the rest of the gang. For me, I want to see them encounter something massive. These are all, street level villains. They should be robbing banks and doing petty crimes and stuff. So when they have like a villain like Darkseid, a cosmic level villain in the mix, I love having that juxtaposition. So I hope they have to fight someone massive or, galaxy shaping. That's the kind of thing I want to see them go up against. Carlos, what do you think?
Yeah, the Darkseid one, I forgot. They haven't done it in this one. They did it in the Kite Man one. So that would be interesting to bring that over because he would still be looking for the anti-life equation.
Right.
So that would be interesting. Good one. If they do decide that they need to go out once in a while out of Gotham to other ones, I wouldn't mind exploring another city for a little bit. Like,
what would you pick?
Central City or Coast City, especially like if you get like maybe like a Hal Jordan as the Green Lantern there, because he has a mouth.
And that ties into the Lantern show too.
Yeah, so that'd be something I think I'd like to see, but not like a whole season, but just like they have to go there for a certain reason because of, like you mentioned, an intergalactic multi-dimensional threat, things like that.
That would be cool. Like, what are you in my head? Like, Coast City is San Diego, and Central City is like a St. Louis-ish.
Yeah, I think they've always said like Missouri for that one. Yeah. So, what was your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, is that how you see those cities?
Yeah, I've always like somewhere like Coast City. Obviously, it's in the coast type of thing. Whether it's like San Diego or maybe like Santa Monica or something like that. But it's always been something like that. And Central City, Missouri. I forgot the other one, Star City, right? That's like Seattle. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, and it's weird. Like, I don't know. Remember this, like reading it, but like the whole fascination of always trying to have Gotham and Metropolis recently, like in the past 20, 25 years, they've always been having them in close proximity. And I never put those together in close proximity, but maybe it's because we always had that Metropolis is seen as New York, but then you have like the seedy side, I guess, of New York. So that's probably why they've always been intertwined. But when I was reading those, I never got that type of vibe, and I don't know why it didn't.
How about you, Paul? Where do you want to see the gang go next?
I want to see them go to the dentist. I want to see them go to Costco. I want to see them go to Coachella and get into a fight with Chapel Roan.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's a good one, Paul. You should go write that.
I mean, I don't want them to go to another city and stay there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like if they had a thing where they had to go to the one city and interact with Guy Gardner and make fun of his hair, that would be fantastic. I would love if they wound up where the Flash is, and maybe we find out that the Flash is also the Flash for another coat related reason. That would be right up the show's alley. Yeah, but I think like I said, I'd love for them to get the gang back together in some capacity, like where it's them and King Shark and Clayface, and maybe bring back George Costanza and Frankette and the gang, and have them all be sort of maybe, I don't know, maybe like Harley and Ivy get they're broke and they have to move back in with those guys somewhere. I also wonder if it wouldn't be fun if they took some iconic Batman story and redid it, but with those two as the main focus. And I don't know which one, but maybe that could be kind of fun to do, almost like a parody of a Batman story.
Interesting. That would be fun too.
I think maybe like Battle for the Cowl would probably work, no?
Hmm.
Where Harley tries to take over the Bat family because now she feels like she is the chosen one or something like that.
The one I was thinking of was and I, of course, now that I'm talking about, I can't remember the name of it. The one where there had been like a plague and then there was an earthquake and
No Man's Land.
Yeah.
No Man's Land. Yeah. Like do kind of like a No Man's Land, and then because then you could inject like elements of like Harley Quinn is like punk rock Mad Max kind of character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, she already killed Nightwing, or killed. So,
right. Yeah.
I do love her interactions with the Bat family, so I'm all about that. That would be very cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be good to bring back a Batgirl, maybe bring in the other Batgirl, Cassandra Cain, who I love as a character. Be fun to see her as like a goof in this. I don't know, or maybe do like a Harley and Ivy destroy the DC universe kind of thing, and where they they take out the Teen Titans and then they take then they destroy the Justice League, but like it's inadvertent and whatnot, and and then
I think they'd have to get a hold of that anti-life equation then.
Yeah,
maybe.
Let's see. Well, that is a wrap for our review and discussion of Harley Quinn season 5. It seems like all three of us enjoyed the show. Didn't think it was the best season of Harley Quinn, but it had its moments, and we're looking forward to more. We have an interesting April coming up. At the end of April, we're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again. In the middle of April, we have 2 movie reviews planned. One is a small independent movie called The Comic Shop. The other one is an old, not so good movie, but kind of hilarious, called Prisoners of the Lost Universe. This is a 1983 movie that was in heavy cable rotation because I'm guessing it was cheap. Stars Richard Hatch of Battlestar Galactica fame. It's weird, and I'm looking forward to talking about that. Kicking things off in April, not sure what we're going to do yet. I would like to talk about Mythic Quest. Zach Morse has a question. Any interest in the studio? Just out yesterday on Apple TV Plus. Yes. Carlos has already watched it. I'm looking forward to binging. I think there was the first 3 or first 2. First two this on this week. So I'm looking forward to that. And also the side quest episodes, those Mythic Quest spinoffs. There are 4 of those. Yeah. So looking forward to that as well. But yeah, I'm interested in the studio. Also that John Hamm series on Apple TV Plus where he robs his neighbors.
Yes.
I forgot what
I
that.
got the name. Yeah, I forgot the name. That one looked interesting to me too. It reminded me of a more serious Fun with Dick and Jane.
Yes, and I love John Hamm. I think he's such a versatile actor. I love that he can play something in Neighbors. Sure, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, we will see how it goes. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time on RPadTV. Bye, guys.